Men may be drawn to physical beauty at first, but the kind of woman a man will risk everything for isn't just beautiful. She's powerful, deep, and magnetic from within. She has substance. And that substance isn't about having degrees, money, or achievements. It's about how she carries herself, the energy she brings into her room, and the way she owns her life without needing anyone to validate it, without being asked for permission. An opportunity she wants more than any other, and a chance to do something with anyone to validate it. She is whole on her own. And that's exactly why a man will want to build with her, protect her, and fight for her. A woman of substance is rooted in who she is. She doesn't chase attention, she commands respect. She doesn't beg for love, she attracts it by the way she loves herself. Her value isn't measured by how many people want her, but by how selective she is with who she allows close to her heart. And that exclusivity, that depth, that's what makes a man want to risk everything, because he senses it. She's not replaceable. She's not easily impressed. And her love isn't cheap. Men don't fall for surface level connection when it comes to risking their time, their loyalty, or their legacy. They fall for the woman who sees beyond the surface, who listens with her heart, who feels everything deeply, but knows how to stay emotionally anchored. She's not reactive, she's responsive. She doesn't explode when things go wrong. She breathes, reflects, and communicates. And that emotional intelligence, that calm inner strength, it's rare. It's feminine power in its most graceful form. And it moves him more than any external beauty ever could. The truth is, any man can be temporarily entertained by someone who's fun, flashy, or exciting. But men build empires, change their lives, and commit for the woman who holds a higher standard, first for herself and then for the relationship. She's the one who reminds him of who he truly is when the world tries to make him forget. She challenges him without emasculating him. She believes in him even when he doubts himself. That belief, that spiritual backbone, is what makes a man walk through fire for her. But this kind of woman doesn't come from a place of performance. She doesn't act deep. She is deep. She's done the inner work. She's healed. She doesn't settle. She doesn't manipulate. Her love is a sanctuary, not a transaction. And when a man tastes that, when he realizes that she brings peace, purpose, and power into his world, he knows instantly she's worth everything. Not because she asked him to prove it, but because she never had to. And that's the secret. The moment you stop trying to convince a man you're worth risking everything for and start becoming the kind of woman who knows her worth in silence, he'll do the risking on his own. Not because you told him to, but because his soul won't let him lose you. There's something powerful that happens when a woman understands how to activate a man's deepest wiring, not through manipulation, not through games, but through a deep understanding of masculine energy. Men aren't as emotionally expressive as women, but they feel deeply, intensely, and with unwavering loyalty when it's earned. At the core of every man is a powerful desire to protect, to provide, to serve a purpose bigger than himself. And when a woman taps into that by seeing him, appreciating him, and allowing him to rise, he'll risk everything to be that man for her. Men don't want to feel controlled. They don't want to feel like they're constantly being told what they're doing wrong. What they crave, whether they say it or not, is to feel like they're winning with you. They want to know that who they are, what they bring, and how they lead is valued. A woman who sees his effort, not just his results, becomes magnetic to him. And when she expresses gratitude without expectation, when she leans into his strength instead of questioning it, he feels that pull to protect and provide on a primal level, not out of obligation, but from instinct. The key here isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's understanding that a man steps fully into his masculine role only when the space around him, when a woman trusts his leadership, even in moments of uncertainty, she gives him something the world often strips away: respect. And that respect becomes the fuel for his devotion. Because now he's not just in a relationship, he's on a mission. And his mission is you. This doesn't mean letting him do whatever he wants. High-value women set boundaries, but they do it from a place of grace, not dominance. They communicate standards clearly without threatening, yelling, or trying to prove a point. A man who feels challenged without being belittled, who feels called higher without being emasculated, will fight to become the version of himself that she sees even before he sees it himself, because her belief becomes his blueprint. When a woman trusts his ability to figure things out, when she doesn't rush to fix everything for him, he feels trusted. He feels protected. He feels empathetic in a way that most of us can't even begin to predict and fathom. And trust is the gateway to his loyalty. He'll go through hardship, make sacrifices, and even face his fears because the woman beside him believes he's built for more. That kind of support is rare. That kind of belief isn't loud. It's present, it's consistent, it's nurturing, and it awakens something in him that no amount of surface level attraction ever could. So if you want a man to risk everything for you, don't beg him, chase him, or force him to change. Show him that you recognize his potential, let him step into his greatness, give him space to lead, inspire his inner protector, not through fear or pressure, but through your energy, your grace, and your unwavering sense of self. That's when he becomes the man who won't just love you, but who will fight for you every single day. A woman's greatest power isn't found in how loud she can be, how fast she reacts, or how dramatic her emotions are. It's in her ability to stay grounded, especially when everything around her is trying to shake her. Emotional discipline is not about being cold or disconnected. It's about having the inner strength to feel everything and still choose how you respond. That kind of presence, that kind of poise doesn't just impress a man, it captivates him. Because in a world full of chaos, the woman who can remain calm becomes unforgettable. Men aren't wired to handle emotional overwhelm the way women are. When faced with constant reactivity, screaming, blaming, breaking down over every little thing, it doesn't make them feel close. It pushes them away, not because they don't care, but because they feel powerless in the face of it. But when a woman can communicate from a space of clarity, not emotional flooding, it invites a man to open up. It creates emotional safety. And for a man, that kind of safety is everything. He doesn't want to be in a relationship that feels like a battlefield. He wants peace. And the woman who brings peace, not silence, not passivity, but peace, is the one who earns his loyalty. Emotional discipline isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about mastering your inner world so your outer world doesn't control you. It means taking a breath before you speak. It means asking yourself, is this reaction going to build the relationship or break it? It means holding space for your emotions without letting them lead the moment. When a man sees that you can express how you feel without destroying connection, it earns a level of respect that beauty alone never could. This doesn't mean you suppress your truth. It means you learn to express it with strength and softness. You can say that hurt me without screaming. You can say, I need some space without walking away for good. You can say, I expect more without tearing him down. And when you do that, when you become a master of your emotional world, you show him that you're not just a woman he can date. You're a woman he can build a future with. Men risk everything for the woman who brings them closer to their own greatness. And part of that greatness comes from being in a relationship that doesn't feel like constant survival. When he knows that your energy isn't tied to how things go on the outside, that your mood doesn't rise and fall with every little misunderstanding, he feels peace. And that peace is what makes him come back. That's what makes him stay. That's what makes him choose you over and over again, even when life gets hard. So when you feel the urge to react, to lash out, to raise your voice just to be heard, pause. Not because you're weak. Men don't fall in love with pressure. They fall in love with possibility. The truth is, a man will risk everything, not because he feels forced to, but because he's inspired to. The women men fight for, build for, and commit to aren't the ones giving ultimatums. They're the ones living with vision. When a woman is deeply connected to her purpose, when she's building a life she loves with or without him, she becomes magnetic. Not because she needs him, but because she invites him into a world that feels bigger, fuller, and more alive than the one he's used to. There's a quiet power in a woman who isn't waiting for a man to make her happy. She already is. She already knows who she is and where she's going. She's not waiting for commitment out of fear. She's not trying to prove she's wife material by bending over backwards. Instead, she simply lives her truth. And that truth naturally calls the right man to rise. She doesn't need to convince him to step up. She becomes the woman a man wants to step up for. You don't need to constantly remind a man of your expectations if you are already embodying them. That embodiment, your lifestyle, your mindset, your energy shows him the standard. A woman with vision doesn't nag him to become better. She just is better. She's not talking about leveling up. She's already doing it. And that alone challenges a man silently but powerfully. He starts to look at his own life and ask, am I showing up the way she deserves? And that internal question is what moves him into action. Not your pressure, not your timelines, but your presence. When a man sees that you are connected to something higher, whether that's your work, your faith, your mission, or simply your growth, he becomes curious. He feels the shift. You're no longer just a romantic option, you're an inspiration. And men don't walk away from women who inspire them. They walk away from situations that suffocate them. So let your relationship breathe. Let your life lead. Invite him into your world, but don't build your world around him. And here's the magic. When you stop pushing, you give him space to choose. And when a man chooses you on his own, not because he was afraid of losing you, but because he sees your value and fulfillment, that's when he's all in. That's when he becomes willing to let go of old habits, make real changes, and take bold risks. Not because you demanded it, but because something inside him shifted. Because your energy challenged his comfort zone in the most beautiful way. So if you want a man to risk everything for you, don't try to change him. Change your focus, elevate your vision, step fully into your purpose, and trust that the man meant for you won't need convincing. He'll feel your power, and he'll choose to rise alongside you. Because he knows that life with you is a life that leads him closer to who he's meant to be. Men don't value what comes easy, they value what's earned. And not through games or manipulation, but through the natural power of standard. A woman who understands her worth never has to demand respect. Her boundaries speak for her. She doesn't punish a man into stepping up. She invites him to meet her where she already stands. And the key here is balance. She isn't rigid, but she's clear. She doesn't make love conditional, but she also doesn't give full access to her heart, body, or energy without effort, consistency, and alignment. Men are wired to pursue, to conquer, to achieve. But when something is handed to them with no effort, no challenge, and no expectation, they subconsciously devalue it. That's not about arrogance. It's about psychology. The pursuit brings purpose. The challenge awakens presence. The effort creates emotional investment. And that's why a woman who carries standards, not attitude, ignites something powerful in a man. She's not playing hard to get. She's being authentic to what she knows she deserves. It's not about withholding love or pretending you don't care. It's about knowing that your love is precious, that your time is sacred, that your energy isn't for anyone who simply shows up. It's for the one who steps up. This doesn't mean you test him or trap him. It means you let him show you what he's capable of when you stop overgiving and start observing. You allow him the space to reveal his character. Because when a man sees that your heart is not given away lightly, he realizes it must be earned. And once he's earned it, it becomes priceless. A woman who makes a man work, not in a manipulative way, but in a meaningful one, leaves a lasting impression. She's not constantly available because she's invested in her own life. She doesn't chase love because she understands that real love is reciprocal. She doesn't threaten to walk away at every conflict, but she will walk away if she's no longer being respected. That quiet power makes her unforgettable. Standards are not about control, they're about alignment. You're not trying to force a man into being who you want him to be. You're simply holding the line on who you are. And when a man sees that you won't lower your values just to keep him, he respects you more. He knows that being with you means becoming more intentional, more aware, more committed. And the right man, he won't run from that. He'll rise into it. He'll rise for you. So don't be afraid to require effort. Don't shy away from setting expectations, but do it from a place of love and clarity, not fear or control. When you lead with grace, but stand with strength, you naturally sort the boys from the men. And the man who's serious about you, he will move mountains. He will adapt, grow, and fight, not because you forced him to, but because he wants to. Because you become the kind of woman who's not just desired, but devoted to. The world constantly demands men to be tough, to hold it together, to carry the weight of pressure without flinching. From a young age, they're taught to suppress emotion, to fix rather than feel, to provide rather than process. So while they may look composed on the outside, many men are silently fighting battles on the inside. Battles they rarely talk about. And that's why the woman they risk everything for isn't the loudest, the flashiest, or even the most successful. She's the one who gives him what the world never does: peace. Peace is not silence. Peace is not submission. Peace is presence. It's the energy you bring into his life. It's the way your words soften his edges instead of sharpening his wounds. It's how you hold space when he's not okay without trying to fix or judge him. When a man finds that kind of space in a woman, she becomes his refuge. She becomes the place where he can breathe, not because he's weak, but because he trusts her enough to let his guard down. You don't need to be his therapist. You don't need to carry his pain. But when you learn to listen, really listen, without interrupting, without overanalyzing, without making it about you, he starts to open. When you validate his effort, instead of always pointing out his flaws, he feels seen, and when he feels seen, he stays. Not just physically, but emotionally. His heart opens, his defenses lower, and that's when his love deepens. Often simple. They don't feel safe to stay open. Criticism, emotional reactivity, or controlling energy tells them it's not safe here. But warmth, patience, and grace say you can exhale here. And that exhale, that's what he's been looking for his whole life. This doesn't mean ignoring your needs. It means meeting your needs without destroying his dignity. It means communicating without chaos. It means recognizing that the tone you speak in becomes the tone of the entire relationship. If your energy is constantly tense, rushed, or defensive, he will retreat, not because he doesn't care, but because he's wired to avoid emotional danger. But when your energy says, you're safe, I trust you, I believe in you, it creates something rare, emotional intimacy. A man will go to war with the world all day long, but he'll only come home to a woman who feels like peace. That doesn't mean you never argue. It means that even in conflict, your energy still communicates love. Even in disagreement, your presence still holds respect. You don't weaponize your words. You don't keep score. You learn to fight for the relationship, not just in it. So if you want to be the woman he never forgets, the one he protects, provides for, and chooses over and over again, it starts with your energy. Become the peace he can't find anywhere else, and he will give you what no one else gets: his full heart.